Check out great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of USDA Choice boneless beef chuck roast for $3.97 per pound with digital coupon, limit 2 packages. Plus, Hass avocados are 10 for $10 member price. And get Fuji apples for just 77 cents per pound with digital coupon. Also this week at Safeway, get selected varieties of Lucerne milk gallons for the member price of $3.99 each when you buy 2. Visit Safeway.com or head into your local store for more deals.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
There was a time when your cousin got married, and it wasn't right after we did. It was some time after that. But
right.
They had all the couples get up who were married. All the married couples sit on the dance floor.
Yeah, right.
And,
right.
It's like, hey, if you've been married, X number of years, 1 year, more than 1 year, you stay on. If you've been married more than 5 years, stay on. If you've been married more than 10 years. And we're like, okay, what happened to everybody?
Right.
It was like us and like this one older couple.
I know, right? We was like, what?
Where's everybody at? Like, come on. So I think that was just kind of interesting, like, again, showing how we sparked so many other people.
Right.
Of getting married. So, and of course, they were old. They won the prize or whatever it was.
Yeah, because I think we were like 50 years later.
But it was cute to see, all the married couples get up on the dance floor, and it was like, okay, it wasn't crowded, but it was like a nice number of us.
It was.
And as the DJ was like counting, up, if you will, in the number of years you've been married, they just started dropping off, like.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it was us and this older couple. We're like, I didn't see myself in that same time frame. Like I would have thought that there would be other people.
Not at all.
So.
And that was like, because I was like, wow. Like I would have thought that, because there was a few couples I thought maybe we would have, been around the same time. And then when they fell off, I'm like, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
They not older than us? Like
they may have been older, but they have been married fewer years.
And then, just the look that people had, as we were, standing up there, they're like, oh, wow, congratulations.
Right.
I'm like, I feel old.
Yeah.
I feel old.
Exactly. So it's just some of those things. So in reference to legacy, I think those are the things that people can see and they are happy about. Now again, there I think have been some people there that were married, but their partner wasn't with them. Like your other cousin.
Well, no, because all right, I'll put it like this. So for my family, my cousin and her husband were there. They just didn't stand up.
Oh, I gotcha.
Or my aunt and my uncle, they were there. They just didn't stand up.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? So, but then there's also question marks. And I'm not saying it's for them.
Right.
But you just wonder how many people have been together and been common law, not so much walk down the aisle.
Right, but that's the legacy.
You get what I mean?
You know what I mean? So like you said, their story, what they may write in their book is different than the legacy that they behold. So their aunt and uncle, like you're speaking of, there's mystery and like, okay, why she still had his last name and he has that last name? Like, are they really married? Are they really not?
Right.
What's going on? So that's the legacy, that question. Now, beyond all that, their ride or die, they were with each other for, till death do them part.
Right.
Really.
Literally.
There's legacy stories of them, like, being, so madly in love that they was mad in love, like mad at each other,
Right.
So that's the legacy. Like, they loved hard.
Most definitely.
So that's the legacy. So again, I think there's a difference in what's your story and what you went through and how you live your day to day versus what the world sees. So, you and I know what it's like to be married and deal with this on a day to day basis. But what our neighbors see might be something different. What our...
Yeah, I mean, I would say I agree, because I think sometimes our neighbors see something totally different than what our actual life is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that it is a total 180.
No,
not by any means, because they could, like one neighbor mentioned how it just seemed like we're such a laughy, jokey family, and they hear us laughing through the walls and things like that, right?
But they don't hear us have those hard conversations.
But I think what it is that we have hard conversations. We don't have yelling and screaming matches either.
Correct.
That's not in our life. We don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the get out, I'm gonna kill you, I hate you. Like, you don't hear all that.
Nobody's
from
throwing
house.
all their clothes outside on the lawn and burning them like the movie.
Right. Yeah, we don't have all that.
We don't have that. We don't have our kids slamming doors. So
I hate you, Mom. So we don't have.
They may think it.
Right.
They may say it under their breath, but that's not what we deal with in this household. But again, our neighbors don't, like, they say, oh, every time I see you, I see your spouse, or you're always with the kids and that type of thing. So they see us as a family unit.
Right.
But they don't know, like, hey, right now, everybody's in their own quarters. You know what I mean? Like, we're not.
So, I mean, you and I, yes, we're kind of.
But I'm just saying, in general, like, everybody's in their own room. It's not like we're all sitting in, just because you see us all come out the house and get in one car, doesn't mean we all sit in one room.
Right.
All day long. Like, hey, let's do this together. No, we don't. We eat, there's things that differ. Like, we all may eat breakfast different times or whatever. So.
Everybody's their individual,
right?
Thing. So, yeah.
Right. So again, I think for me, when you say family legacy, when you say, what's our couple legacy, to me, legacy is what other people see in us.
And I'm not debating that.
Okay.
I'm not debating that.
Mm-hmm. But if we had to write our story, if we had to put a book and say, hey, this is how we got it done, then that, I think, would raise a whole bunch of eyebrows. But
see, I think, one of the things that you're referring to, because like I said, my grandmother talked about writing this book. And one of the things that another family member would say, like, lady, your life ain't that interesting. Like, I would hear people say that type of stuff, right?
Yes.
And so, But in retrospect, to some degree, it has been, because for her to survive a tornado with she, her sister, and her brother, where her parents perished in, like that unto itself is a movie. Like that's movie type stuff right now. And just how she's been able to persevere through life, whatever she's been going through, right? Things have not, as that poem says, life ain't been no crystal stair. That's her. But she's never put herself in a position to really get that done, if you will. Whatever she wants people to remember her by. Unfortunately, because of all the other craziness that's going on in the family, and what she's dealing with today, whatever that legacy that she wanted to leave or create, unfortunately, it's going to vanish because no one's going to know.
Right.
You get what I mean? So.
I mean, I guess, again, some of the legacy would be, do you, as her grandson, as her heir, tell her story for what you know?
And you know what? I'm sorry. The first thing that came to my mind was Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
The first thing that came to my mind was Hamilton because what's that song at the very end of Hamilton talking about telling the story? Like
Right.
that's the I thought about a whole play, and I'm sorry, yo, my brain goes off sometimes.
Yes, it does.
And then
But it's all right.
you paid attention though. Did y'all pay attention? I said my mind went somewhere, and Kyle was like, right?
Yes.
Because she knows that it can go ballistic.
Right.
She knows that. But it didn't go that way this time,
Not
thank
this time.
goodness.
It didn't go that far. Yeah.
Woo! So, because it could have been wild. But the reality is, could I tell her story? To a degree. Now, the question...
and you're at the point in this part of life where she's still around and there's so many other people that are around that you could pull reference from, meaning her sister, her kids. So if you're going to tell the childhood story, you have her sister who could give you some input. Now, again, if it's true, if it's not, we don't know. And then you have her offspring, being your mother and her siblings, that could give you input from another period in her life.
Right.
And what that was like. Again, like you said, hey, your grandmother being born,
1932.
32. And what that was like at that particular time in the South. So it could become a history story. I mean, because of just what was going on in the world at that time, and what that was like. I mean, and then you have other family members that are still down in that area that could give you what they've heard through storytelling from their parents and things like that. So, I think it would be interesting. It would be interesting story.
I think it would be too. I think it would be too. But,
especially because she's been one saying, hey, she wants to put her story together. Again, I don't know which story she wanted to tell because when she told me, it wasn't about her life. It was more so about her leadership. So I don't know, what she really was wanting to share.
That part I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
That part I couldn't tell you.
I mean, she said that she had things written, had started. So again, I don't know what.
And I couldn't tell you where that could even be today.
Right.
And based off of the family history, you get what I mean? We've had some ups and downs like any other family.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no telling where that information is,
Right.
to be honest. And unfortunately, my grandmother, even though my grandmother's still alive.
Yes.
But for those of you who have parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever, we have a family member that's dealing with memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever it might be. I just implore each and every one of you to, especially when you have that early onset, try to get as much information as you can.
Right.
Prior to, because you don't know how fast it's going to set in.
Well, even if they don't have memory loss or in that part, any older person that you have in your life, especially, for legacy purposes, as you're saying, Maurice, just for memory purposes, get as much information as you can from them. Because, what's in the history books, what's in articles may be different than their own experiences or maybe similar, but you can get firsthand knowledge.
Right.
So I can remember my dad saying, hey, he couldn't go to certain places in West Philadelphia. I was younger, so I didn't dig into it. But, now that I'm older, I wish that he were still around so I could dig into it.
Right.
When it comes to my grandmother, she's in her mid-80s. So I do dig into her a little bit. but she plays that, oh, girl, I don't remember game because I'm digging so much.
Right.
Because I'm like, dang, I want to know this. Like, it's right there. Like, tell me what.
Right.
Tell me more. You know, but I have to pace myself and not make her frustrated. So, you know, I'll wait until the next time I see her and say, oh, well, what about this person? And what about this? And did you go hang out here? And, you know, did you have any issues with this and whatnot? So I'm gaining a little bit more information, but like you said, it's just difficult at times. And I think a lot of people are starting to capture this as I look at YouTube and some social media where people are interviewing their grandparents, you know, and this is like the new hot thing. Like, you know, Grandmom, did you ever get arrested? You know, I think the last one I looked at yesterday, she wasn't arrested. She said, Grandmom, have you ever been to jail? And she was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, Grandma, what you go to jail for? She said, I went to go see somebody. She was like, well, who did you go see? You know, and she was, you know, being very discreet or whatever. And then they were like, okay, well, what about, like, have you ever been arrested? And she said, you know, why? You know, she said, well, have you ever been in handcuffs? And she was like, yeah. She said, well, if you've never been arrested, why was you in handcuffs? And she was like, well, some guy put me in handcuffs.
That's too much information. We ain't that's a whole other vibe.
You know, it's just interesting to kind of hear what sometimes older people have to say because they lose their what did you say? Their scruples, if you will.
They're not losing their scruples.
Not just you use another word when you say it. Like, you know, they come off a lot more information. They don't hold back as much as they would if they were younger. Like our parents probably would never.
Some people might say couth.
Couth, maybe that's what it is. So, you know, yeah, I can't imagine my mom like really saying too much, but, you know, certainly my grandmother or, you know, they kind of don't have much filter, if you will. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think our parents, like you said right now, they have a filter.
Right.
Per se. Maybe it's just that boomer
No,
space.
I think even once they get into their 80s, they're like, oh, you know, who cares? Like, this is what I did.
No, I can't see our parents changing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see our parents changing. Because they've been so secretive all this time. Whereas our grandparents, if they were given an opportunity to be on a platform, they would use it. Because I'll put it like this. Even though your grandmother is relatively quiet, but who's taking the time to really ask her a question either? So you ask her a question, she'll answer it. Right?
Right.
My grandmother. Now, even though she loves the stage, quote unquote, you know, and she'll just continue to take it over, right? But they'll answer. Both of our parents, you know, either way, both fathers and both mothers are just secretive. They don't share. So, you know, so even when you talk about this legacy as a couple, you know, unfortunately, to some degree, we've taken on that same idea. We don't share.
I think this podcast we share.
Yeah, I guess to some degree.
You know, so I think, you know, our generation with all the social media, like you're sharing what you eat, you're sharing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
we don't do
it's
that
video,
as often.
Right. But I'm just saying the podcast, you know, if anybody sits down and listens to all, how many episodes, 120, what you know, might be, they're going to find out a whole lot about us.
Well,
from
I mean,
our kids
so this is our legacy, though.
Yes.
So we're leaving a legacy.
We're leaving a legacy, right. But the interpretation of it is up to the listener.
Yeah, but so what do we want people to remember us by?
By what we're putting out.
By sharing it on the No Fruit podcast. So we're considered podcasters or journalists or whatever it might be. So you're still creating your legacy, though. We're not necessarily just standing idly by. You get what I mean? So I think it's two or threefold with that. Because in other cases, like if you pay attention to anyone that's out there that's on a stage, quote unquote, they control their narrative of how they want to be remembered. Do we want to control that for ourselves? And sometimes, and in some ways we do. Because we're not known, like you said, we're not known as the ones that's throwing clothes outside. Hurry up and get out. We're not known as people that's outside drunk on the street. Now, some of that stuff we just don't do. We don't engage in that activity anyway. You get what I mean? That's just not our personality. Well, if we were, you don't want people to know that.
Right, but we don't even talk about, like, that's not something we uplift or whatever. We broadcast. Like, even if it's not us, we're not looking at other people doing it. And we're not talking about other, like, that's not going to be one of our topics in our podcast. Like, hey, look at this person throwing this person out under the bus.
It would be funny. I mean, we would if I found it funny. I would talk about it. Because some of those things just seem comical. Like, it just doesn't seem real. So, but I mean, if it was a real serious situation, like, like they were really like fighting and they was literally thrown underneath the bus for real, and the person got hurt or killed. Like, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
no.
I think that's not who we are. So even if we're not doing it ourselves, we're not engaging in it like that either. So again, our legacy is not that. We're not.
Yeah. So I just want to know what your thoughts are about your legacy. Are you controlling the narrative? Are you not controlling the narrative? Do you want somebody else to tell your story? That's something that to consider. I think that's really something to consider. But I thank y'all for listening today. Continue to tune in and please leave a review on Apple, something just to let us know that you're there. And tune in next time. Talk to y'all later.
Later.
Peace.
This week's episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time. Check out great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of USDA Choice boneless beef chuck roast for $3.97 per pound with digital coupon limit 2 packages. Plus, Hass avocados are 10 for $10 member price. And get Fuji apples for just 77 cents per pound with digital coupon. Also this week at Safeway, get selected varieties of Lucerne milk gallons for the member price of $3.99 each when you buy 2. Visit Safeway.com or head into your local store for more deals.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.